Love, collaboration, alternative learning, experiencing are the 4 points that shape my practice. I acquired this manifesto during Unit 2. Collaboration with others and across disciplines has revealed to be extremely important, as it enriches the project in a variety of aspects. Love, I believe, is a fundamental practice we should all cultivate more. Jack Cornfield says, "It's possible to speak with our heart directly. Most ancient cultures know this. We can actually converse with our heart as if it were a good friend. In modern life, we have become so busy with our daily affairs and thoughts that we have lost this essential art of taking time to converse with our heart." Finally, giving values to alternative way of learning expanded my horizon within the production of work, valuing a walk or a visit to an exhibition as much as attending a lecture, asking the question, what did I learn from it, and how can I translate it into a piece of work? In June, I had the opportunity to be part of the team at Dancing Strong Movement Lab. My interest in their work came from wanting to explore architecture through movement and pursuing my interest in the relationship between water, humans, and architecture. I developed this interest further during the site-specific event for Global Water Dances, which took place at Deptford Beach, London, led by Adashola Akilane and Helen Kinder. Dancing Strong methodology is based on experiencing, and how an experience can be translated into a piece of work. This led me to casting as a form of spatial representation, which captured the experience in Deptford. I was waving through the imprints left by the dancer, pouring plaster and hoping it will set before the tide would rise again. Once the performance ended and the tide started rising, swallowing the memories left on the sand, the time for reflection came along, making us, the people on the beach, migrate on the higher level so not to get wet, questioning what is left and what it isn't in that specific place and within our bodies, what we carry within our memories and what water will remember. I came to the conclusion that the acknowledgement of water as an entity is the first step towards enhancing the relationship between humans and water, and for shifting architectural perception towards a new design methodology. My proposition developed into reimagining these casts in a different spatial context and scale, whilst holding within them the sense of place and time spent at Deptford Beach, proposing experiential sitting and performance stages within an exhibition environment. The human body sensation marks the invisible line between the two worlds. The first one is where the skin of our body is stroked by the air, and where our body weight is felt through the force of gravity, connecting us to the surface of the earth. The second one is where our body is stroked by the water, holding our weight and making us float on its surface. To touch the bottom of the sea, we need to challenge our body possibility against the water force, in the same way as if we wanted to fly and reach the last layer of the atmosphere. Water is heavy and air is light, and yet a fish would say the contrary. The meter square that I proposed is a tidal meter square along the River Thames, mutating with the movements of the tides. I consider the brief, inspired by the artist Alexandra Daisy Ginsberg, as a way to learn and get to know the site, finding reciprocity within our action towards it. For the first time, I recognize a site as a living being, which changed the way I relate to it and build my relationship with it. I started talking to it, ask for permission and ask for forgiveness when I poured plaster. Casting enabled me to freeze my experience and the site temporary aspect in time, to reflect on it, to share it, and to develop my extended project brief. You don't really notice the water tide moving, particularly when you are busy. Then, all of a sudden, you turn, and it's already time to leave again. Leave again that piece of land in continuous shift, never the same, always mutating. I collected all my things, packed my bag, and walked up the slimy stairs, which soon will disappear into the submerged world. The bottom of the Thames is revealed at low tide. Things such as rock, mud, plastic, glass, bones, mussels. They are frozen in movement and revealed to the sky and the human eyes. A new layer during this time is added. Leaves, feathers, plaster, forgotten objects, prints of living beings. Water is the driver of movement. When it reaches again, whole layers are reshuffled, morphed, broken, moved, letting the river create its next composition, once the water recedes again. I feel I'm getting to know you, and I know that if I want to spend time with you, I have to come while you are receding, not at your lowest time. In that case, our time together will be shortened by your unrestable rhythm. I feel I can touch you. I feel I can trust you. And I can trust you because I'm getting to know you. Thank you for letting me use some part of you and chemically react with plaster. This allows me to frame your apparent absence at low tide and the composition you left on the beach, making you live forever under a different form. The river and the sky melted together, and I found shelter in the negative void you left temporarily under a wooden pier, assisting on your show. The light was golden, and around was grey, and suddenly blue again. A perfect day to see all your metamorphosis. How might we transform the majority of today's practitioners' vision from facing an enemy into facing a friend? Mitigating the water's behaviors through adaptation, acceptance, and reciprocity, recognizing water as a being, as one of us, or better, as part of her. By studying the tidal environment along the River Thames, the brief proposes to bring awareness and consideration of water as the basis of understanding. Flexing with the tides proposed the design of a sensorial space, a temporary, mutating, performative structure to fully experience the site, reconnect with nature, and feel fully present within that specific moment. Enabling a new way to represent the site, engaging with the site through a waterscape design approach aims to rewild the riverbanks and the wetlands surrounding the River Thames. Exploring a resilient solution in collaboration with nature. In vista of the near future flooding, without the necessity to keep water within the lines. With the intention to increase public awareness that we, human, are connected to the water cycle, to other species, and to these shifting pieces of land. Therefore, we have the role to re-establish and keep up the law of reciprocity, of regeneration, and of mutual flourishing between human and non-human, answering the question, how can the weather form a new architecture? How can we shrink the gap between human and non-human along the riverbanks of London? What does it mean to bring indigenous knowledge into the project? How can we document the site through a different representational method? I want to challenge the importance of what is perceived from a site and how can it be translated into architecture, rather than thinking about the future feeling a building could give to a site. What can a site tell you and how can you represent it? What does the knowledge you accumulate through a deep study of the site gives you? Experiencing the movement of the river within the city enables us to accept the presence of water. It allows the river to expand and retract, rewriting our way of being through adaptation and to its movements.